It's incredible to think that 3 days ago this was a kindergarten. This is where the rocket hit. Kindergarten completely destroyed. Obviously the flats behind completely destroyed.
Virgin Group founder Sir Richard Branson on the ground in Ukraine to witness the destruction Russia has wrought in its 130-day war against the independent nation. As Western leaders assist the war-torn country by committing billions in weaponry, Sir Richard made the bold choice to tour the capital city of Kyiv, despite the ongoing Russian threat. While there, he did meet with President Zelenskyy and Ukrainian business leaders to learn more about how the West can best plan to rebuild the Eastern European nation. He has just returned and joins us live. Sir Richard, thank you. It's one thing to visit an active war zone. It's another to go to the very target of a war zone, in this case, Kyiv. Why now, and what compelled you to make the trip?
I wanted to understand better exactly what was happening. I went in 2014 after the first invasion by Russia. I've kept in touch with Ukraine since. And I was concerned that the West is still not doing enough. And having been there, seen the devastation, talked to the foreign minister, talked to the president, I realized that the civilized world, Europe and America and South Korea and other countries like that, that we've pledged a lot, but we've just got to ramp up our support. If we don't get the weapons there quickly, Russia will continue their relentless march into Ukraine. It won't just be the East Ukraine and the ports that go. It will be a lot of the west of Ukraine and ultimately the whole of Ukraine. And it's going to cost a fortune to push them back out again. So now is the time that we've just got to get an enormous supplies of weapons there so they can hold the line.
A lot of weapons have already gone there, and already what many would consider an enormous amount has been spent. But guess what? An enormous number of lives have been lost in this horrific situation. What was the one thing that compelled you most, that struck you most about what you saw on the ground?
Oh, just the incredible bravery of the Ukrainian people. I mean, when you say a lot of weapons have already gone, there's something that for every 10, 15 weapons that the Russians have, they've got one. So it's really their extreme bravery that has managed to hold the Russians back as long as they have. But what the Russians are doing is literally just leveling cities. I mean, they're not fighting hand-to-hand combat. They're literally leveling the cities and then coming into a leveled city. And they will continue to do that unless we can get an equal number of weapons to the Russians there to give these wonderful Ukrainians a chance. And they are fighting on all our behalves. I mean, they're fighting on the rest of Europe's behalf. They're fighting on America's behalf. They're fighting on the free world's behalf. And just trying to get, South Korea, for instance, has many more weapons than they need. They could give 5% of the weapons they've got to balance off against North Korea, and that would be sufficient for what the Ukrainians need.
Well, you're a king bridge builder, and you are great at compromise, and you are great at convincing people to do things they don't want to do, but you feel they should. I mean, would you ever approach Putin, or is he a lost cause? And if so, how would you convince him to push back from Ukraine?
The only way that he can be convinced is if he feels he's not going to win. And the only way that he will know that he's not going to win is if the Ukrainians are given the firepower to hold the line and then maybe start pushing him back. If you don't get that, Putin will continue. He'll continue through Ukraine. He'll continue through Poland, and he just will not stop.
Well,
now is the time to stop him.
Well, from stopping to starting, how do you start rebuilding? Because business is the key to that, is it not?
It certainly is, and I'm trying to encourage many companies that left Moscow and left Russia to set up in Kyiv.
Good idea.
I mean, companies like Starbucks, for instance, and other companies, just to show willing. But the rebuilding, it would be lovely to start today. I think that we just got to get our priorities right, and that is stop this relentless march to the Russians, and then we can concentrate on rebuilding. President Zelenskyy asked if I'd be on a board called United 24 to start rebuilding Ukraine. And the moment things have settled a bit, I obviously would be delighted to look at that.
I hope so. We need you there. Thank you, Sir Richard. I and the memory of my Ukrainian grandparents, thank you for sticking up and caring about us. We appreciate it, sir.
Thank you very much.